Alright, so what's up YouTube? Welcome back to Jordan's Guitar Channel. I'm your host Jordan. Today I'm back with the LTD JM2, making a video I didn't think I was going to make. So before I dive into it, I'm going to tell you how I fixed this guitar. And I'm going to say some things about LTD that may trigger you. It's not meant to talk trash about LTD. I actually want LTD to do better, right? And so I've actually bought 4 LTDs trying to experience what I hear in the comments all the time. Like, I've bought LTDs for years, I've never had an issue. Well, dude, I've bought 4 and they've all had major issues, and I've documented them on the channel. Just search LTD on my channel and you can go through and find these videos. Now this guitar, it's taken me 7 months to fix this thing. Now, 2 months ago, I did a video about humidity, and I thought the guitar was fixed then. But the very next day, it wasn't fixed. It was playing awful again. And I was so pissed. So I threw it back in the case with the D'Addario Humidipack and said, screw it. And I left this guitar for 2 months because I was just over it, dude. The company I bought it from offered no support. The warranty on these things, well, it kind of sucks. And so I just said, well, I was pissed, dude. I thought I was out $1,700. If you haven't seen the videos on this guitar, dude, everything's been replaced except for the bridge and the pickups, dude. Just because it had to be. The electronics have been replaced. The nut has been replaced. The tuners have been replaced. It wasn't because I wanted to upgrade or wanted to put extra money into this guitar. It's because I had to. And unfortunately, the warranty doesn't cover any of that. At least to my knowledge. And I couldn't see any sense in putting the same cheap plastic nut or the same in-house brand tuner. So I upgraded to a Graphtec Tusk XL and Graphtec ratio tuners, right? And then Fishman pots, and we'll get into that here in a second. So how I fixed the guitar was completely by accident. So like I said, after that video, I was just done. So I threw it in the case with the Humidipack and left it for 2 months, like I said. And finally I said, I can't do it. It's a guitar, man. I just can't do it. So I got out the case, took the guitar out, and it was playing really well. And I was shocked. Well, as it turned out, I pulled this out of the case. So this is the Humidipack. It's the Restore Humidipack. And this thing, it didn't leak, dude. The gel is just dried up. I don't know. I mean, you could hurt someone with that thing, right? So it drank up all that humidity. And how I came to that conclusion was speaking with a tech friend of mine. And he said, these things are made in Indonesia. It's very hot. It's humid, subtropical climate. So I said, you know what? Well, let's just throw the guitar in that, as close to that environment as I can get to it in Texas. And it worked. Now the neck is stable. The frets, I mean, this guitar, the action is super low on this thing. It's shred worthy. And there's no buzzing on the frets. Sounds really, really nice. Plays really nice. And so it led me to make this video. Now I see why people like LTD so much. And it's very frustrating because it took 7 months and all these upgrades to get to this point. And so I thought I would make a video saying, I see how good the guitars can be. But that's the frustrating problem, is they're not coming out of the factory that way consistently. The quality control on this guitar was awful. And there were things on it, I mean, this guitar should have never left the factory this way. Now, like I said, granted, it does play really well now. But let's get into some things. So when I first got this guitar, I was really impressed with it. Within 3 weeks, it was back at the shop with a cracked fretboard. And you're wondering, well, why didn't you just get rid of the guitar? Well, the company I was working with asked me to work with them on this guitar. Now, granted, I've never been sponsored, but there was talk of being sponsored. That's why I went through that. And of course, they didn't live up to their end of the bargain. Once I started telling the truth about what was going on. Another video for maybe one day. But anyway, so I worked them and said, well, let's just see how good an LTD can be. And now 7 months later, here we are with a really good guitar. But let's get into some things that LTD absolutely needs to change. So my biggest gripe right now with this guitar is the frets. Now, stainless steel frets, major upgrade, really cool to have. But if you're gonna do stainless steel frets, dude, do the frets right. Now, the frets are level, which is fantastic. There's no buzzing. The action is great. But I don't know if you're gonna be able to see or not. Where they crowned them, I'm trying to get it really close so you can see. It's supposed to be smoothed over. And it looks like they cut it and just like maybe ground off some extra burrs or something like that. But it's actually pretty uncomfortable if you grab it a certain way. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, for $1,600, bro, you can't crown the fret properly. I mean, come on, dude. I mean, that's day one stuff. This is where your hand goes on the guitar. And if it's uncomfortable, you're not going to want to play this thing, and you're sure as hell not going to want to buy one. Right? So come on, dude. Do a fret job. And apparently the warranty doesn't cover it, because I did have a Korean version of this in 2022, and it had sharp frets on it. And the company wanted to charge me like $250 to do the frets on it. And of course I just sent that guitar back, man. And I ended up getting my E2 M1 NT, which is like my favorite guitar in the world. And it's 10 times what an LTD is. And the frets are perfect. And nothing ever had to be upgraded. So again, I'm looking for incentives for me to keep purchasing LTD and for me to recommend LTD on my channel. Because after what I've been through, I don't want anybody else in the entire world, not even my worst enemy, to go through what I went through with LTD. So the second thing, plastic nut on a guitar of this price, dude. Considering all the other companies are not doing that. Dude, put a Graphtec nut. I mean, what's it going to cost you? Like 50 cents a guitar? I mean, give me a break, bro. At no point in history has a guitar player said, you know what? Can you put a really cheap piece of plastic on my guitar from the nut? I don't want it to stay in tune. I don't want it to be intonated. I want it to sound like complete ass when I'm recording. I mean, give me a break, bro. Like, I mean, this would be nothing for them to do. The electronics. Now, based on my research, what I'm able to find out, and if I'm wrong, please correct me down in the comments. Because I do not want to put out misinformation. But what I found, reading pot codes, it looks to me like they're using the same cheap pots all across the board. Now, this guitar has been upgraded with Fishman pots. Fishman pickups use Fishman pots. I guarantee with LTD and E2 and ESP just going absolutely ape over Fishman pickups, dude, Fishman will be more than happy to supply you with pots on these guitars. Because look, in 30 years plus, dude, I've never had to replace electronics on a guitar. Not even the cheapest of the cheap pawn shop guitars I used to fix when I was learning how to do this stuff when I was younger. It's absolutely absurd. So I mean, if LTD was to fix those simple things, like I would absolutely consider buying another LTD and recommending it on my channel. I mean, because like I said, this guitar does play really well now, except for the fret ends, right? And with them being stainless steel, it's going to be more expensive. And to keep this thing under warranty, which I absolutely want to because I've had so many issues with it, it would cost me $200 or $300 extra to do the just to crown the frets on this thing, dude. And I'm not able to do it because it's under warranty. So I'd have to find an ESP tech, pay to send it off and then pay to have it done. That's absurd on a brand new guitar. Now the in-house tuners, modern mass manufacturing, dude, right? Understand you got to cut some corners somewhere. So if you get a bad set of LTD tuners, LTD should be more than willing to at least give you another set of LTD tuners. Now I was not given that option, and so I went for the graphic ratios. I was like, you know what? If we're gonna upgrade it, dude, let's just upgrade it right. And the graphic ratios are fantastic for anyone who's wondering. Now, other than that, I mean, the guitar is really good. Like I said, it plays really fantastic. The chug. Shreds. Yeah, like it's a great guitar, man. It's fun to play. Like I like having it in my collection now. But I shouldn't have had to gone through all this stuff to get it that way. And you know, the point of the video is showing you how I fix this guitar. And that LTD, man, what are you doing? Like, I want to buy your guitars. I want to give you my money. But until you take care of these things, there's absolutely zero incentive for me to keep buying LTD. You know, one more little thing before I go. So these guitars are $1,600 brand new. Now to have warranty work, because you can't replace any of this stuff by yourself without voiding the warranty. So just the nut and the tuners, to have them professionally done by a certified tech, was almost $400. So by the time that's done, you know, well, I bought this as a demo for $1,300 to just for clarity's sake. But should you have this happen on a brand new guitar, $1,600 plus nearly $400, you're at $2,000 plus taxes and fees and shipping, etc., etc. You're pretty close to buying an E2. You know, for another, I mean, for $2,000 you can get the E2 M1NT. That's perfect. And now they're coming with stainless steel frets. For another $400 to $500, you can get a Viper or an Eclipse. You know, and it's gonna be even a much better guitar. So I'm just throwing it out there to say, look, LTD, you got to step up your game. You're raising prices on stuff, which I get, inflation, economy, marketing, yada, 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 right? But, you know, if you would do these simple things and fix these guitars right, there would be more and more people like me who like to buy guitars every year. And we'd be looking at LTD as a more viable option. But for right now, until you fix these things, I can't do it, man. I mean, there's no incentive for me. And I like to promote good stuff on my channel. I don't like to talk about this stuff. But, you know, fix things, man. And I'd be more than happy to bring LTD back on the channel and say really good things about them. But until then, you know, make your decision on LTD. I'm not talking bad about LTD. I'm trying to help, man. Because, you know, with the prices of guitars, you know, $1,600 may be the very top end of what people can afford. And if you have to go through that with a guitar at that price point, dude, I mean, you're going to be completely discouraged, and then you find no help. So, yeah, man, LTD, get it together, man. We love you. We want to see you come back and, you know, bring back that ESP name, dude. Support it. It's proud, dude. Bring back that quality, man. And anyway, guys, you got any hate, comments, questions, suggestions, whatever you feel like saying, leave it down in the comment section below. I do try and get back to every single comment because I appreciate you guys taking the time out. If you want to keep up with the saga of Jordan's Guitar Channel, new gear that I've got, new content, hit the subscribe button, man. It's completely free. I do videos as often as I can. And yeah, man, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks to everybody's coming out and subscribing and supporting the channel. And as always, much metal, much love, and much peace. Later, y'all.